Hello, welcome to another video. Today, as you can tell from the title of this video, I am doing the Tropes Book Tag, which is the original tag that Jess from Just Reads Books created and tagged me in. So of course I will leave the link to her original tag video down below. You should check it out. You should do it. Okay, now, I'm gonna, before I get into this, just give props to Jess because this is probably the hardest tag I've ever had to fill in. Like, there's 10 questions, and like, these took some real thought. I have planned out and pre-written my answers because they took thought. Like, I knew I wouldn't be able to think of these things on the spot, so yeah. And to kick it off, the first one, I'm clutching straws here, like, I really don't know. So yeah, I am gonna give her a thumbs up for that. It was the hardest tag I've ever had to answer questions for. So yeah, let's just crack onto it. As you can tell from the title of it, it's the Tropes Book Tag, so each question is based on a popular trope from a novel, and then a question based on that, as tags tend to work. So yes, let's get on with it. Question number 1 is hopelessly devoted. Name 2 characters from separate series that you ship. As I said, I'm clutching at straws with this one. This is really hard. I genuinely can't think of any 2 characters from separate series that I passionately believe should be together. So really, I'm just clutching at 2 that I think would be compatible in some capacity. And for that, I've gone from Blue from The Raven Cycle and Laszlo Strange from Strange the Dreamer. I ship Blue and Gansey, and I ship Laszlo and Sarai, so I do ship them with like their canon partners. I just think that they would be somewhat compatible together. I just imagine them together being really chill, you know. Blue's got that kind of quirky edge, but she's also pretty chill, and Laszlo is like a brave and courageous soul, but also pretty chill. I just imagine them kind of clicking and being quite chill together. So yeah, clutching at straws for that one anyway. But let's move on because the other ones I have slightly more solid answers to. So question number 2 is damsel in distress. Name a female main character that didn't need a man to complete her. For this, I'm going with Mia Kaveh from Nevernight. I haven't read God's Grave, so I don't know what happens later, but I don't believe Mia needs a man to complete her. Now, as I say, I haven't read God's Grave, so I don't know what happens there. But I'm just gonna say I don't think she needs a man to complete her. Honestly, I don't think she needs anyone to complete her. But I have in my head thoughts of what might potentially happen in God's Grave, but I haven't read it yet, so everyone that has read it, if you're catching my drift, then yeah. I don't want to say anything for anyone that hasn't read Nevernight. I don't want to spoil like what I'm thinking. I need to read God's Grave to see if what I'm thinking comes to any fruition there. Mia does not need a man to complete her. Question number 3 is love at first sight. Name your OTP. Kel and Lila till I die. I just love them together so much. Like, they make me feel so happy. Delilah Bard is by far my favourite character ever. I am passionate about that, I say that enough. I love Lila, and I think her and Kel together just works so well because Lila's so like hot-headed and reckless and Kel's so not. And they just, my babies, I love them. They are my ultimate OTP. Question number 4 is mental illness as a quirk. Name a book that you think represented mental illness well. I genuinely believe, in terms of contemporary novels, I've only read one that I think has represented mental illness well. I don't read contemporary a lot as it is, so I don't have much to compare this to, but it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. Own Voices Depression. So it's kind of a funny story. I like the way that he was able to bring light of it, but your main character's mental illness isn't a quirk, it is the plot. It is him dealing with that and being medicated and going to a hospital and so on. And a lot of it comes from Ned's like own background, so a lot of it is based in his truth. So yeah, I liked that book when I read it. I haven't read it in years, but it's the only one I can think of that I think accurately would represent that because it's based in his truth. Question number 5, The Chosen One. Name a main character that did or almost did ruin a series for you. This is so easy. Selena Sardothien, Throne of Glass. I am quite open about the fact that Throne of Glass isn't great for me. I'm really struggling with it, up and down with it. I'm only 3 books in. I desperately tried to start Queen of Shadows and struggled, so there's that. But Selena Sardothian as a main character, let's just base this on Throne of Glass, is annoying and whiny and whingy and contradictory and just not great. I don't like her. Moving on, question number 6, friends to lovers. Name a duo that went from friendship goals to relationship goals. This I'm basing on a book that I read relatively recently. Slight spoiler warning for the book I'm about to talk about. So if you haven't read A Shiver of Snow and Sky by Lisa Ludek, spoiler, either continue or don't based on whether you care about what I'm about to say. But Osa and Ivan, throughout the majority of this book there was no romance. They were friends and they actually went on separate paths for a really long time, but something happens where our main character kind of realises, like, oh shit, I could die and he will never know how I feel about him. So when she eventually gets back and she's like, I thought I was going to die, and my last thought before I was going to die was that you didn't know how I felt about you, so here we go. And I like that. I thought it was done really well, and I really enjoyed this book. Question number 7 is amnesia. Name a book that you would forget for one reason or another. I'm not going to go into the what's, hows, and whys, but Given to the Sea by Minnie McGuinness, if I could wipe that from my memory, I would. Number 8, Bad Boys. Name your favourite villain. This was another one that I found quite hard, because I'm not someone that's into villains. Like, I like them as villains, but you know how some people kind of like those dark characters and get a bit into them? I'm not one of them. I like the good guys. So I found it a bit hard, but I settled on Holland from A Darker Shade of Magic. Slight spoiler warning. I don't know if he counts as a villain because that redemption, man, and the fact that he wasn't actually himself. So yeah, not sure if that quite counts, but Holland as an antagonist, at least, is probably my favourite. Question number 9, missing parents. Name a book that could have benefited from a bit of adult supervision. For this, I'm going to go with In Real Life, the graphic novel that I have just here. This is about a girl who gets an online game and gets a bit sucked into it, and there's something kind of morally grey happening. She's not sure how to act to it, and I feel like if she just asked an adult, then like the whole plot kind of wouldn't have existed. I've spoken about this before as well. I just think this whole book as a whole was a bit underdeveloped and not explored enough. But yeah, could have done with just ask your mum about this thing that's going on and she'll give you some solid guidance rather than just acting on it on yourself. And then question number 10 is girl/guy gang. Tag some friends. Now Jess tags like a ton of people in her original tag, so I'm not sure who she's tagged and I don't want to repeat tags, so I'm going to tag some people on Twitter when this goes up rather than here so that I can actually cross-reference and not double tag people. So that's what I'm going to do for that, and that is the end of this. So thank you so much, Jess, for tagging me. Again, props for making a tag video that I actually struggled to answer questions for. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. If you're not tagged, and if I don't tag you on Twitter or whatever, just do it anyway, like spread the love for Jess's original tag. And that's all I have to say on that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, give us a thumbs up, chat to me down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!